Wednesday, August 2026, 5:30 p.m. meeting of the Ann Land Bertha Henschel Memorial Fund Commission. The meeting is now called to order. Will the clerk please call the roll to establish a quorum?
Members, if you can please unmute your microphones for roll call. Ex officio Coletto is absent. Commissioner Contreras?
Here.
Commissioner Malik is absent. Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Commissioner Stevens?
Here.
Commissioner Ubag? Here. Commissioner Seymour is absent. Commissioner Rule? Here. Vice President Smith is absent, and President Ellis.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Before we begin, a brief reminder for members of the public in attendance. Speaker slips are to be submitted digitally. You can register to speak by scanning the QR code posted at the back of the chambers or through the kiosk. Submissions must be received prior to the item being called. Once the item is called, public comment will be closed. Each speaker will be allowed 2 minutes to speak. We will now proceed to the land acknowledgement and pledge of allegiance. Please rise if you're able for the opening acknowledgements in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisan people, the southern Maidu Valley Plains, Miwok, Putwantun peoples, and the people of the Wilton Rancheria Sacramento's only federal recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's history, contributions, and lives. Thank you. Please remain standing if you can for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now proceed to today's agenda. We will start with the consent calendar. Clerk, are there any members of the public who wish to speak on the consent calendar?
Yes, thank you, Chair. We do have one speaker that is registered to speak, Jesse M. Jesse M. does not appear to be in the audience, so that does conclude our speakers for this item.
Thank you. Are there any commissioners who wish to speak on the consent calendar? Thank you. Is there a motion and a second for the consent calendar?
So moved.
Okay. Okay, so I have a motion for the consent calendar by Commissioner Contreras, and then a second by Commissioner Rule. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? The motion passes. Okay. Now we will move on to the first agenda item, approval of the Land and Bertha Henschel Memorial Funds Commission meeting minutes.
Chair, that was actually on the consent calendar.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So we will now move on to the discussion.
Discussion calendar. Okay, I apologize. Let's move on to the discussion calendar. Okay, this is the 2027 grant cycle dates, forms, and process. Is there a staff presentation?
No presentation, but there is some information to be provided to commissioners. So as a reminder, this year the application will be collected online through our grant management system. It is a centralized system that the city is using for all grant opportunities. The application is currently published, so community-based organizations are able to go on and look at the requirements and the questions ahead of time. Today, we are just going to approve the final version of some of these documents. So I gave you all a packet with your grant cycles, dates, forms, and processes that were updated. The main thing was the dates. So we do need to keep the application open for at least 30 days. Currently, we have it set to open on the 31st and then closed Wednesday, September 30th at 3 p.m. That way we have a chance to answer questions at last minute. You will all be receiving an invitation to the panel so that you can score these applications virtually with a one-on-one training on how to score the applications on the website. Okay, so staff are going to be walking you through it. We'll send you a video tutorial. When the application launches and we finish and the application closes, that's when you'll be receiving a link letting you know, hey, you've been invited to participate in a panel to score the applications for this year. We'll try to give you the tutorial and training prior to that, so that by the time you get it, then you'll know what to do. And yeah, staff will be available at your convenience. We have a bookings link where you can book an appointment with me directly or staff. And you can use that in between now and then to schedule appointments if you have extra questions after your training and the video tutorial.
Any members of the public who like to speak on this item?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have any members of the public for this item.
Are there any commissioners who would like to speak on this item?
So this is a different system than what was used in the past, because in the past we were receiving hard copies. Have you rolled this out with other boards and other commissions, and what's the feedback been from them so far?
So I believe Children's Fund, Sacramento Children's Fund, also known as Measure L, did use this system in the past. I don't know that they had many issues working with this system. I have been working with this system for about 3 years now for the other grants that I manage. There are some issues, some things that we've been working to fix. Like I said, in the past 3 years, I was part of the group that got to beta test this system. So I got to deal with most of the issues in the beginning, but we also got to identify as many concerns and issues and talk to our vendor to fix those. So many of those have been fixed, but it is pretty similar to what you've done in the past. You're gonna have the same questions, which are here in the back of your packet, right? Your scoring matrix. It's gonna be pretty similar. Except instead of writing it into an Excel spreadsheet, it's going to be the grant management system.
Okay. I'm curious, like, was it that what types of issues were being encountered?
I can speak to that.
Yeah.
I'll also introduce myself. Hi, everyone. My name's Julie Guerin. I'm the interim program manager for Youth Development Administration. I also run the Sacramento Children's Fund, which is a commission such as yourself, and we also put out requests for proposals. We've used the grants management system for our last RFP. As Brian mentioned, there were issues, but we've worked with the system administrator to fix those. But for example, some of the issues were like there's a bug where a applicant who uploads sort of attachments, you wouldn't be able to look at all of the attachments in one document. You'd have to go in and open up each document. And it could just be rather time consuming.
Right.
That being said, I don't foresee that being a big issue here. There was a big issue where just being transparent, a commissioner put in, and it wasn't only commissioners on this panel. So in this case, it wasn't a commissioner, it was an outside panelist, but they put in their score and they didn't press save. And so then their scores got erased and they're like, now I have to do it all over.
Right.
So basically, we fixed that bug though, because that was a big one.
Right.
And mostly it's just like, after every score you enter, please hit save.
Right.
Yeah, like any kind of system, it's one of those common bugs. But apart from that, it's really great because it calculates the scores itself. So it avoids a lot of human errors.
Sure.
And it spits out reports for us. And so all in all, it's a step up from having to do it in the paper.
Yeah, I believe it, yeah.
Thank you.
Are there any other commissioners that would like to speak on this item?
How many commissioners will be selected, and what is the selection process?
To score the applications?
Yes.
So all commissioners will be scoring applications, and then what we do is we take all the scores and average them out. And then applications will be ranked based on score. And during the November meeting, you will all decide, let's say the maximum score is 600, so you will all decide who gets funded. So you could all say everybody above 550 gets 100% of what they requested. And then it staggers from there to 90, 80, 70, all the way down to 50%, et cetera. But yeah, all commissioners will be scoring applications, all applications.
So when we go into the meeting, when we have them to come in and we let them know what, if they made it, right, in the grant process, are we going to be able to say prior to the meeting how much each person is going to get? Or are we going to do what traditionally has been going on, that we'll do it in their presence?
The process will stay the same. So during the November meeting, you will all have a chance to ask questions to the community-based organizations or the applicants. And then we're going to have a little break to, if you want to make any updates to your score, like, hey, I need a clarification on this, I'm going to increase your points, right? And then we're going to tabulate the final scores, and then you'll choose how they'll get funded after that. So it will stay pretty similar. The only difference is it's not going to be done through the grant management system.
Okay.
Are there any more discussions? Okay. Commissioner Brown?
Just a general question for the committee, or for the committee itself. Are we full? Like, are we expecting more people to participate than, say, last year when there was like 6 who did it last year?
Are you asking me, are we expecting more people for the funding?
Well, because
meeting?
last time it was we only had like 6 people do the ranking. So are we expecting like a full panel to do it this time?
It is the expectation for all the commissioners to partake in the grading, but, if let's say a commissioner can't attend, there's times when the person can submit their scores and not be here to be considered, to be counted. But it is the expectation for everyone to grade them and attend. Did I answer your question or no?
Kind of. Yes, but also like, are all the seats taken? I guess is the main thing. Like,
Yeah,
are we
pretty
full?
much. Yes.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Commissioner Contreras?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused. How do we score, or what if I wanted somebody real high and the other commissioners put them real low? How does that work out, or things like that?
We'll receive a matrix, and then you will have the application has the questions, and then there's a matrix that go along with that, and then you score. Do we have a copy of the matrix? Okay. It's in the packet. So you will score, give them a weight according to what you see in the application. So let's say, I don't know, if one of the questions about who we serve, and if it's something for pets, That's not something that we, serve pets and dog foods and things like that, pet food. So you will probably rate that a 0. So you base it on the application, you look at the numbers, and then the numbers coincide with the matrix, and then that is how you're going to grade.
And then is that what I'm asking? I guess I'm not saying it right, but, and we vote as a majority of the matrix? Like I said, if my matrix is a lot different than the other matrices.
Maybe, yes.
The other, it's the majority of the commission for that one agency decides how much they get or if they get it or not.
Yeah, your scores, all our scores would be different, There's times, and then we go ahead and average everything out.
Okay.
Does that answer? You will have your matrix, you will have your score, you will submit your score to Brian. At the day of the funding meeting, it would be displayed on the screen, and then all the scores will total tally them all up. And then based on the numbers, then we decide how we're going to fund them on those numbers. The first
And then
500, 100%.
And then each commissioner has to just suck it up if he's not happy with what the other commissioners
Yeah,
decide.
it's
Okay.
just,
No, that's what- I
we're
just wanted to
passionate.
find-
Yeah, we are passionate about the ones that we're passionate about, and sometimes it just may not work out.
Yeah, okay.
know?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions regarding this item? I just wanted to add, Brian and I talked a little bit about this before, and I just want to make sure that it's on the record. There are some things on the application that we talked about the last meeting that I want to make sure it get updated for this application process. One of the things is, if you look in your packet, where the application is, it says required online application attachments. There's a section in there about COVID-19. We do want that removed from the application. And I believe we were going to put office hours there. I can't remember, but we're going to get that removed. We also want to add the website. Under the section where it says 2027 Ann Land and Bertha Henschel Memorial Fund online grant application. We're thinking about adding a number 5 and make sure that says website or wherever it's appropriate, but as long as we get it on there, because we do take in consideration, we do look at their website as well. And it gives us a better understanding of what's going on with the organization. We also did talk about physical, mental well-being. So we just want to make sure that verbiage is added for the mental health so that we capture that. And I think that is all that I saw on the application. Okay, are there? Oh, okay. Commissioner Stevens, I'm sorry.
I had a couple of questions. The first one was, thank you for the clarity on the website, because during the last distribution of funds, I wasn't, versed on that we should be checking people's websites to see, the validity of what they say, who they are, what they do. So that is not a research that, when I made my decision-making, that I included. But I learned that when we were here in person. So I want to say thank you to Brian right now that he's willing to do a training so that we're all looking at the same demographic information and making those choices per that information that we are finding. So I want to say thank you for that. That's a great add. And yes, I agree we should have the website, the email address, and alternate information, because when I was trying to go on the site visits, trying to get a hold of a live person is truly more time spent than we should be doing. So I would like to ask, when they're submitting these applications, is it firm that they understand between this time of year, we're going to be calling you, and we need to make sure that who's that contact person is on trying to schedule that site visit? Because I literally spend like 2 or 3 weeks and maybe more trying to get a hold of whether the grantees, which I really didn't at that point have that kind of luxury of time to do so.
Okay,
So that's all I wanted to say on that.
thank you for that. Are there any more discussions on this item? So do we need to take a vote on the items? Okay. All right. Can I go ahead and make a motion, or?
Yes, you can
Okay.
make the motion, or you can call for the motion.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to update the 2027 grant guidelines to remove the COVID-19 section, to add the website, and to include the mental well-being. Is there anyone that wanted?
It's understood that we need to, it's not just that we have this contact information,
Oh,
but that
the webs.
it's the communication that I want to make sure the communication is given to the grantee about the obligation of contact reporting, because this is the second time that I really spent a lot of time not doing the site visit, but just trying to get to them so I can do it. That was a lot of time wasted trying to do that. And when I spoke to one of the grantees, they're like, oh, I didn't know we needed to have time set aside for that.
Okay.
So my question to the commissioners or to you is, how is that communicated? When is that communicated? So that we can assure that we as commissioners, when we are trying to reach them, I don't know. I don't even know if there's a penalty. Is there something? I'm not trying to penalize anybody. Let me go back on that. But trying to just get a hold of somebody was really, really cumbersome. And how was that communicated? So I don't know if that needs to be a part of the application, part of written communication, that you have been, congratulations, you have been selected as to receive this grant. Please make sure that who is available, what is their contact, da-da-da. I don't know how that could be done, but something needs to be done so that the grantee knows that we're going to be outreaching to them.
I think what you're asking is something different than what I'm trying to get updated here.
Yeah, so I'm saying, I don't know if it's to be a part of the application so that they know that we need this information, or should it be a part of the award letter that goes out? But somewhere between that and the award letter, it needs to be communicated that we need to know who that person is my question.
Commissioner Stevens, I think I can speak to that. So we lay all that out in the grant agreement, and that is where we lay out sort of the reporting requirements. And in that grant agreement, or also in the communications to the grantee, we can make sure to include language that says, please make sure you're available for your site visit. Please make sure that you're updating your contact information, and that staff or commissioners are able to get in contact with you. So we can make sure to push that forward in this next grant cycle.
I greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, so we can go back to the motion? Okay, I make a motion to update the grant application to remove the COVID section, to add the website, and to add the mental well-being as part of the funding priorities.
I second.
Okay, Commissioner Stevens have seconded that. All in favor? Oh,
Sorry, Chair. Your motion was to approve the 2027 grant guidelines, but we also have the 2027 annual commission funding priorities. So are we approving, we're approving both in one and then the guidelines with the edits that you've made?
Right.
So is that the motion we're going
Right.
to propose? Okay, perfect. Just wanted clarity.
Okay.
And I still second.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, let's go to the next agenda item. And I believe we're on number 4 right now, and that's the semi-annual reports. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this?
We do not have any members of the public for this item.
Okay. Is there a presentation?
There is no presentation for this item, but I have included a table that summarizes all of the semi-annual reports for you with information on any carryover and an explanation of why funds carried over.
Are there any commissioners that wish to speak on this agenda item? Commissioner Rule?
Quick question. I guess similar to Commissioner Stevens, I had some challenges reaching out to some of the organizations that I was asked to visit at the mid-year. And I also noticed that they hadn't submitted their report, suggesting that perhaps the city had challenges reaching out to them as well. So again, I think it's, how do we ensure that, grant recipients are aware that, there are some expectations with regards to communication with the commission and with the city to make sure that the funds are being expended in the way that they had originally proposed. It's more of a statement. I don't know that I have a grand answer. I mean, perhaps some of the information, during the original disbursement and, grant, release, indicating that this is an important component of receiving funds through this, grant program. I don't recall having challenges like this in prior years. So, I don't know if this is like an anomaly, if this is a, different scenario somehow this year, but,
I have a question for you. So was there new staff? Was that?
I don't know. I wasn't able to reach anyone.
Okay.
So I don't know. In my instance.
And I can add really quick, so for the semi-annual reports that they do to receive their disbursements, everybody submitted on time. So we did have, in the case of Commissioner Stevens, I think it was closer to 2 months that we were calling and emailing, trying to get a hold of them for the site visit. And we kept getting voicemails. I kept leaving voicemails. She kept leaving voicemails. And I did have a couple other commissioners that reached out and said, hey, can you help me reach them? So I reached out to every contact because I do have alternate contacts for some of them. Especially because for the contract execution,
Sure.
We might have a different contact than whoever is running the grant. And even through that, it was a little bit difficult for the site visits. So it is an interesting thing. I don't think we had issues with that last year or the year prior to that.
I've never had, I've done it a couple years and I'd never had an issue before, but.
No, I don't know. Maybe it's the heat. I don't know.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yeah. You guys, I'm a project manager, okay? And as a project manager, I always look to see what is it that we are doing right? What could we do better? That's how my brain works, right? And so for this, for something I want to say so simple, we just gotta make sure the expectations are out there, that yes, we're giving you funding, even when they're here. We're giving you, you're receiving this funding. The requirement is that you set time aside for a commissioner to come do a site visit. We want to know and learn about you. We can't do that if we can't get a hold of you. Because when she speaks on voicemails, I promise you, I was becoming one with voicemails, unanswered emails. And it's, you know, a little bit frustrating because you don't know what's going on, you know, you don't know even, that's why I had to reach out to Brian, and then when I learned Brian had the same issues, I was like, oh, God, good. It's not just me, it's, you can't get a hold of them. So we do need to, like, stress on somebody needs to be available, and maybe we just keep pounding it in so that they understand that this is not just something that you can check box away. No, you got to be answering the phones, responding to emails. Let us come to you. Let us introduce yourself. Let us see your site. And that meets the requirements. So I just think that we need to find a way to make sure that is strongly communicated, just a little bit more than what we're doing. Now I want to ask another question. When I did my site visits, and I don't know if this is the right area, so feel free to correct me. When I was doing my site visits, a couple of them said, you know, it would be nice if we could have money to help with the facilities so that we could, when I say facilities, like storage of food, where that storage is at. So they're saying that if we had additional funding or funding that would allow us to maybe buy a refrigerator, buy a container, these things would help us as an organization to continue our services. So I don't know exactly where that would fit in or if it could fit in, but I did promise that I would mention that during our commission meeting.
I've never experienced where an organization requested a refrigerator or storage, so I don't know, I've never experienced where we allowed it funding for that. I'm not saying that we can't open it up, you know, I don't know how the commissioners feel about that.
I think we're obligated per the guidelines of the commission on how the funds are used. I mean, if they need additional items, then fundraising or other things, but I think we're really limited to how the guidelines of the commission are.
Yeah, I just promised that I would mention it, so I mentioned it.
You know, maybe it can be discussion sometime in the future, I don't know. Commissioner Contreras?
No, because I want you guys to respond to what I have to say.
No, we can proceed. Did you have any comments?
No, it's just,
Oh,
yeah, I do have a comment. Next time when you do this, Brian, can you put this on all the pages, please?
like put a header?
Makes it a little bit easier for me. Because see, this one does, the other one don't have it. You know, that's all. Thank you.
Are there any other discussions? Okay, well, I'll go next. As I was looking at some of the explanations, it seems like, okay, if you look at Loaves and Fishes, their explanation, it says, we were able to use other available funds for much of the food expenses for the STEP program, and then it's mentioned funds for the Q spot. Now, I believe the Q spot is with the LGBT Community Center, so it seems like, I just wanted to make sure, it just seemed like that may be an error. And then with Roberts Family Development Center and the Sacramento LGBT Community Center, both of those explanations are the same in each box. So I don't know if a line has shifted.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so if I want, look at Roberts Family Development Center, Sacramento LGBT, it's the same comment. And then Loaves and Fishes, I know they have the milk program, but I see the Q spot,
Right.
and that's probably with the Sacramento LGBT Community Center. So I just wanted to, point that out, and I don't know if all of them have been shifted or just some of them, but if we can get that, updated.
If you look further down, Waking Village, they're talking about 513 overage, which is on leave. It looks like.
Wait, Commissioner Rule, if you can, I don't know, we can't hear you.
Is that better?
That's better.
Sorry, so if you look further down, I think the Roberts Family Development Center, that column with the information was inserted and everything else trailed down, because if you look at Waking the Village, it says NA right now, but right below it says we had a carryover amount of $5.13, and you can see that $5.13 goes to Waking the Village. So I think somehow just the Roberts Family Development Center got doubled, and then everything shifted down.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to mention that.
Are we able to upload a supplemental with that one corrected?
Like now,
No, like after. Or can I just send them an updated one?
just send them an update, yeah.
Okay, is there any further discussion? So for this one, I'm not quite sure. It was more of a discussion, so does there need to be a type of vote on this or anything?
This just looks like a review the semi-annual reports and then make your comments. So no action is needed for this item.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to commissioner comments, ideas, and questions. Are there any comments, ideas, questions from any commissioners? Commissioner Brown?
Just a comment. For our discussion, what was it, discussion, on the discussion calendar, the grant cycle dates, forms, and processes. Just to confirm, we did change the annual commission funding priorities. But did we have a certain verbiage for that, for how we changed it? Or was it just, we're adding in some mental health stuff? That was my question/comment.
I am sorry, I was distracted at the moment when you asked your question. Can you please repeat your question, please?
Yeah, to confirm, we did change the annual commission funding priorities. And then how did we change it? I guess with we just added in, say it would cover mental health, or was there a certain verbiage we used for that, or was it just?
I think it was called mental. Brian has it written down. I think it was.
If I may, through the chair, you all voted on this at the last meeting. I believe there was some sort of discussion about mental health with wraparound services, but it was an item that was up for discussion and a passed motion at our last meeting. And my understanding of this current motion that was done was just to reiterate the changes that were made in the previous meeting. We can pull the exact verbiage for you, Commissioner.
So it's what we agreed on.
Yes.
Okay.
And then this motion was just to confirm that the edits and changes that were discussed and agreed upon at the last meeting would in fact be included in the final version of this.
Actually, didn't get that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion from the commissioners? Okay, there's just one thing I would like to mention. In January, there will be a new board president and vice president, and what I'm suggesting would really help for me is that when there are pre-script meetings, I mean, this is just a suggestion, it doesn't have to come to fruition. It was helpful for me if both the president and the vice president attended like pre-script meetings so that both are on the same page. Yeah, I just found it to be helpful for me so you know the lay of the land. So if the president is out, the vice president will be abreast of what's going on. So that's just only a suggestion. Moving on to public comments, matters not on the agenda.
Does that complete our commissioner comments? Is everybody, okay, perfect. Yes, we do have one speaker. Our speaker is Jesse M.
I can hear you. I just want to clarify that speakers have 2 minutes, correct? Okay.
Was I allocated any extra time on that?
I think our rule is 2
Marguerite?
minutes.
You have the 2 minutes to speak. You may proceed.
I think we were talking about getting some extra time to speak. Is it based on your disability? Yeah, yes. And concerns I have regarding grant stuff.
Okay. We do have the clock ticking.
Oh, can we restart that, please?
Please proceed with your comments.
Okay, so for the grant, I have some concerns about oversight of community-based organizations. How are we going to gauge the effectiveness of these organizations with the funds? And then is there any policy, procedure, protocols for the organizations receiving, or no, for people receiving services from these organizations? Is there any sort of way to make sure that there's a grievance process and that people with disabilities are able to redress their grievances and hold them accountable for negligence? And then non-agenda things, access to local government. So I've been having issues trying to get a hold of my representative. I've called the mayor's office and asked to get some assistance getting access to address my grievances. I was damaged by some nonprofit organizations, and what they did was criminal. And I'm trying to hold them accountable and get access to maybe the AG or somebody that can look into their misconduct and omission of duties. Yeah, so that's what I've got as far as time.
Thank you for your comments. Chair, that completes our speakers.
Okay. Thank you for your comment. Appreciate you bringing that to our attention. What we'll have to do is probably get someone, you know, it's beyond my scope here today to get, you know, just do some fact finding, try to find out some information, and then someone can get back to you. Okay, thank you. Well, this concludes today's agenda. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Time now 6:24 p.m., and this meeting is adjourned.